coon. Yeah. They've had a heyday of that yesterday and today. We don't need them. Coyotes needs a load of lead popped to them. That's what they need.
Smiling faces. Y'all want to start early? Let's start early.
Chris will be here.
We still have a quorum without it, so we can start. We'll be in the good stuff time they get here probably, because Chris said he was on his way. I hadn't heard from Juliet yet, so I don't know what the story is there. I want to thank everybody for coming. It's kind of strange. Everybody's sitting on the right side today, except the members of the staff here. It's kind of funny looking up here, but it's okay. It's closer to the door to get out, so I know what you're doing. I want to thank everybody for coming. That's my humor for tonight. I'm not a comedian. I don't try to be. But I just try to get the agenda done for us. So we're going to start tonight since the chaplain's not here. I'm going to have an invocation, then we'll have pledge of the flag. Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for the blessings of the day. Give us the strength, courage, and wisdom to make some proper decisions for the city of Lula. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
There she is.
I told you the thing worked out, all right? Okay, it's time for citizens' comments. So everybody knows the rules, so who wants to speak first? Come on, Robert.
Hey, get in here. Robert, room 61 in there, more way, Lula, Georgia. You know, I just got word of something. Oh. There we go. Robert Grizzle, 6400 Nevermore Way, Lula, Georgia. So I heard while I was on hiatus, I guess, from a few meetings, that now we're talking about the size of houses on the size of lots. My name was mentioned as my house seems awful big on my lot. But that's ironic, seeing how 97 houses just got approved on a council person's land that's only roughly 18 acres. 97 houses. You know, I'd like to see another house match up to my house in value or size. It's for near 10,000 square feet, but it's sitting on 80,000 square feet of property. Add my barn in, my other little buildings, maybe we're 11,000 square feet. But it's got to get brought up here. Why? Because the house is big? I'm not trying to overcompensate, not like some short people have to do. It's ridiculous. Y'all approved for a council member 97 houses on 19 acres, or less actually, about 16 to be exact. You take away the green space, it's not on 30 acres. 97 houses, 5 foot apart, and then have the gall to bring up my house sitting on 80,000 square feet of land? It's pathetic.
Thank you, Robert. Anybody else?
Okay, Feltonwood. I need y'all to really think about the dualies, the commercial vehicles, because, you know, we do have residential, you know, trucks, dualies, stuff. It's not classified as commercial and stuff like that. Really think about that. Big issue with the Historical Society, what I see and everything with the city and everything, y'all need to stay separate, because there's some issues comes up that City Hall is not a drop box for the Historical Society. Teresa always did a good job. I've been here most likely, let's see, Tony, well, I'm gonna call your name. Most of y'all's, you know, time. I've been here, and we run Mayor Barbara out of here to force her to give that Historical Society building and everything the rights up to the city, and we did so. And a couple of us turned around and also raised money up for the Historical Society, same one y'all's on today, back in 2016, but we get treated like crap too. Now, anyway, I just need the city to stay separate. That is a non-profit organization. Really think about it. When y'all start giving money to the Historic Society, now, what's going to stop it from next year raising up more than $2,500, $3,000, $10,000 as we grow? But y'all need to keep that separate and get the drop boxes and who's in charge, and no more of this taking applications, and then when people shows up at the site, sits up their tents, and they cannot sell because there's 2 or 3 other people selling the same thing. You know, when I was a member of it, or halfway member, whatever, but when I did raise money up, you know, they look at my application and say, there's somebody else selling hot dogs, can't do this, right there, you know. Then you don't have the conflict, you know. And I appreciate it if y'all would take that consideration, you know, and look at this a non-profit organization. They do not run this city. Y'all do. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Anybody else? There'll be another chance during the meeting to express your comments about this meeting if you want to, so we'll carry on. Everybody's seen the agenda for tonight, and we're making changes to it. I understand Joey had one change he wanted to make to it.
Frank put it in. It's the addition of the election resolution. Thank you for that.
I entertain a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda. Second.
Motion made by Denise, second by Juliet to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. We have an agenda. All right, Joey, you handle this public hearing?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a public hearing now on a variance request. The procedure we will follow is that I will call out the variance request. I will then ask for the applicant to come forward with any explanation for the reason for the request to the council. I will then ask for those who are here to speak in favor of the request. If that is a reason you are here, that would be your opportunity to speak. I will then ask for those who are here to speak against the request. If that is a reason that you are here, that would be your opportunity to speak. Frank will then provide you with the staff report, including the Planning Commission recommendation. You have received that in writing, but he'll present that and answer any questions that you have. And the applicant would then be entitled to respond to any items brought up in opposition to the request. So the request tonight is for property located at 6467 Main Street. It's Hall County Tax Parcel 09066006005. Spoken Word Church, Inc. seeks a variance to reduce the front setback from 45 to 28 feet for property zoned R3 multifamily residential. Is the applicant present? Is anyone here to speak in favor of the request? Yes, sir.
I figure y'all need to give them the variance because anybody dealing with a church and trying to approve a church building is pretty good.
Thank you.
For the record, that's Pelton Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. Anyone else here to speak in favor of the request? Anyone else speak in favor? Is anyone here to speak against the request? Anyone to speak against? Frank, any comments regarding your report?
You have the entire package in front of you. This, as stated, is for the spoken word of, the spoken word church down on Main Street. They currently own 3 parcels. The church itself is basically on the middle parcel. The issue was the side yard setback. If you go to page 2 of your handout, what you're looking at is the sloping side roof. Part of it has been enclosed, part of it hasn't been enclosed. The part that isn't enclosed is where the HVAC units are currently. That's what the church would like to enclose to put an office building in there, an office for the pastor. That does not meet the front setback requirements. That's why it's here for a variance. We have reviewed, both staff and at this point the Planning Commission have reviewed the application, reviewed everything else that's going on there, the adjacent churches, and answered the questions required in section 2305 about variances, which is on page 3, starts on page 3. And the Planning Commission recommends that you consider granting this variance with 3 conditions. And those 3 conditions are, first, the 3 adjacent properties owned by Spoken Word Church be combined into a single parcel of record. And part of that is, as you heard last Monday at the work session, the church has future plans, so they'll be back before us for other variances if they don't. Number 2, that the church work with the building inspector to identify specific items that need to be addressed or provided under the International Building Code with Georgia amendments prior to starting construction. And number 3, that the church work with the building inspector and the city to identify the new location for the HVAC systems. And that was the only conditions that the Planning Commission had. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions from council?
So the addition's just gonna be enclosing what's already there?
It's enclosing space that's already under roof there, yes.
Okay, so it's not even gonna go in front of the building?
No, they initially did want to push it out further, but this is where they decided is they want to use the existing roof line.
Okay.
I'm in favor of approving it. Let them do it.
I'm gonna close,
We're not at that point yet.
I'll close the public hearing.
Thank you, Joey. Okay, everybody seen all the minutes from all the meetings
Excuse me, this would be for you to consider.
tonight? Tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
I know,
There's not another agenda.
okay, we didn't put it back on the, I knew it was going to be voted on tonight, but, Sorry about that. Everybody seen the minutes? Got any changes you want to make to them?
Wait a minute, I'm sorry, Mayor, we did make that more confusing. Normally, we do have the public hearing, and then have it as a separate agenda item, but because this was a variance request, and sometimes folks have had to sit through the meeting awaiting your decision, we put it on for public hearing and for your vote, in the same item before you move to another item on the agenda.
Oh, you want to vote for it now?
Yes, yes.
That's no
Oh,
problem.
okay,
I didn't understand that's what we're trying to do here.
all right.
Okay,
And the reason the applicant wasn't in here is he's sitting in the same room in Gilsville.
Okay. That's why he came last week then.
I make a motion that City of Lula approve the variance request 2025-001 for Spoken Word Church, in keeping with the three recommendations received from staff and Planning Commission, so those conditions would apply.
I'll second.
motion made by Tony, second by Garnet to approve the variance request. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
I think it was Chris.
Oh, was it Chris? I'm sorry. Sorry, it was Chris. And Tony, Garnet had said a while ago,
I
really,
didn't say it, but that's okay. He got by.
he,
That's all I care.
okay, now then. Now I'm caught up today. The old man's, y'all gotta keep it straight, you know that, right? The minutes. There's, we got 6 copies, 5 copies here, everybody read all of them? Anybody want to change anything on them? You know, one of them includes the public hearing from the rezoning request. Once we approve those minutes, we'll automatically approve the land use district change. Since we already. Anybody want to make any changes in the minutes? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and pass the minutes as written.
I'll second.
Motion by Juliet, second by Tony to approve the minutes. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. Give me a second, guys. I got 16 copies here, guys. I know, I can sign them after the meeting. If I do it then, I'll forget them. But I'm gonna try tonight. I'm gonna try to do it without, how about that? I won't make y'all sit through all that. I'll sign them later. I know, don't do that, do I? Okay, yard of the month. I got that somewhere too. Here we go. District 1, 6005 Toombs Street. Oh, these look, usually winners $100 too. Show us your colors. Okay. So congratulations to all the people. District 2 is 5562 McLeod Street. District 3 is 5953 Chattahoochee Street. District 4 is 6609 Belton Bridge Road. District 5, 5706 Athens Street. Congratulations, folks. And the city will credit your water bill with $100. Okay. Yay. All right. Steve Edwards. Your turn. Oh, you brought help over you, huh?
Yep, brought help. I'll be brief, Mayor and Council. My name is Steve Edwards. I'm with Waste Management. This is Katie Cowan. She's the Senior District Manager. And just basically wanted to give you all a quick update. Based on some service concerns, March, April, I think a lot of it probably had to do with the change of pickup day. We met with city staff and we met with Frank, Tangi, and Joey. And on my side, on the WM side, Katie was here. My boss came down from the Carolinas to meet with y'all about some of the issues, some of the concerns. What we wound up with, and I kind of want to update council on our commitment. We walked away from that meeting with 10 action items. And I'll go through them real quick, and then if I miss anything, Katie can talk about what I missed or address any questions. Number one, city staff is to copy Katie, the senior district manager, on all emails because Katie can't fix what she doesn't know about. Number two, we committed to come here and talk to y'all. Moving forward, we want to hear your concerns or comments. Number three, Katie and her drivers will be coached and counseled on a daily basis on any issues that come up with the city of Lula. Number four, any delays en route, any obstacles will be communicated to the city almost in real time. Number five, city's going to receive a monthly service report, kind of like a scorecard of how many issues there are versus how many successful collections there are. And we do that with a lot of cities, do with Sugar Hill, and they kind of use that as a metrics and a benchmark. Number six, we're going to provide an 8-yard container for the barn, and that is planned to be delivered sometime this week. It'll have a locking bar on it. Been delivered? Okay. Number seven, both city and waste management in the future may discuss kind of an alternative plan or an idea. Instead of folks calling Lula City Hall, they can also call us, or they can call us exclusively to take care of service issues. And that might be something we can talk about at a work session down the road. Because that's a pretty big change, because most people call here. And we're always open to town hall meetings to discuss service. We don't mind getting in front of people and talking about container placement, how we do things, the safe way, our smart truck technology, all those kind of things. That was number 8. And number 9, we talked about notifying city residents on holiday schedules and making sure we put out another postcard for cart placement instructions. And cart placement instructions, because our trucks are automated, you can't put our cart within 3 feet of a car or mailbox, but some folks forget. So we want to continuously improve on that communication message. And number 10, I think the city and WM are going to work on a successful cleanup event coming up in the near future. And basically, you know, you can ask Tangi or Teresa. Service has been really good lately. We want to keep it that way. We want to continue our partnership. And then, did I miss anything, Katie? I don't know if I did. Okay. Well, anyway, right now you can ask questions or comment on us moving forward.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So when you've got the truck, are there locations in the city of Lula that you cannot turn around and you have to back out of a street?
You want to address that?
There are.
Do you know how many there are?
I do not, but it's just a handful. It's not a lot, but there are a few situations where we have to back down a road, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think we also have use of the pup truck in Lula.
We do.
Smaller
yeah.
truck?
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
And is that to be operated by Waste Management, the pup truck?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we use that for the backdoor service.
Okay.
And you've got probably, what, 25, 30 folks who can't physically push their cart curbside, and we'll come get it with that smaller truck.
All right. Thank you. That's all the questions I've got.
You have one about size?
They've already committed they're not going to make a smaller truck. So we'll continue to pay for the roads that they just damaged.
Yeah.
I
His
remember.
driveway's one y'all had to back
I
up.
remember.
Matter of fact, I don't think you can go down his driveway anymore. But,
Oh, no, that'll be another conversation.
I did have one thing. Your drivers, as far as training on the arm, I know some of them are a little aggressive when they put the bucket back down.
So they're
I'm also the mailman in town, and
right, yeah.
so-
They're all trained. So now with the new schedule that we have, where we run in Wednesday, Thursday, we have one specific driver that does most of your service. So you're going to have pretty much the same driver unless he's out sick or on vacation. I think what you see is when we have a driver come aboard who hasn't run that on a regular basis, and it takes him half the day to get kind of comfortable with what he's doing. So by Thursday, he's doing a much better job. But it's just because they don't do it every day. So it's just getting back in practice.
Sometimes I've tried to go around them. Sometimes I go around them, but it's a pain.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie about it, but it's a
Yeah.
pain.
Right.
But we did notice that in I appreciate y'all addressing that problem.
Mayor, I'd love to go back to the old days where we had rear and load trucks with 2 people on it.
But people in the back of
we
it, I
just
can't
can't find
afford
anybody
it.
to do it. No.
You can't afford it, can you?
Can't afford it, nor can we find people to do it
Yeah.
on the back.
Some of this, no, I'm not gonna get that. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say it. Okay. I appreciate it.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. Nice
Appreciate
meeting you all.
Before I go any further, I want to, I neglected this half a meeting already. We have a new assistant city manager, y'all. It's Jerry Neese. Stand up, Jerry. Somebody say who you are. He's helping Frankie out, so he and Frankie are co-conspirators now, so. If Jerry don't know the answer, Frank don't know the answer, then you come to us, but no. But they usually have the answer. And Jerry, welcome aboard, Jerry. We're glad to have you here. And we look forward to happier days. Okay, next item on the agenda is planning for the city's sesquicentennial. How about that, folks? Y'all say that 6 times.
Don't try it. I can't even say it once, so it's okay.
I did good.
Say it while you're eating peanut butter. You'll be all right. I'll tell you what the next one is too for the United States. Okay, same old thing. Next year, 2026, is the City of Lula's 150th anniversary, our sesquicentennial. The Historical Society asks that a committee be formed to meet within the next 30 days to plan events celebrating our 150th anniversary in 2026, keeping in mind that the United States is also celebrating their 250th year, which is semi-quincentennial. And we don't want Lula to be shadowed by anything that's going to go on. And let me tell you, there's a website already for that. They're getting ready, and it's going to be most of the year. We ask that the committee be comprised of 2 council members, 2 historical society members, 2 development authority members, 2 Lula lady members who will meet in the City of Lula's conference room to plan how we're going to celebrate this event. Also, we ask that the city allow us, the Historical Society, to display a selection of 150 years of our history on the back wall of this conference room in increments of 50 years each to display our progress and events from 1876 to 2026. We want to set up the displays by Monday, November 3rd this year and remove them after 2026. Now, I said this last week, and I'm saying it again, but I'm going to add to this. Not a single one of us in this room is going to be here in 50 years. And if we are, we're not going to know it. We're going to have dementia like I'll get out. So I think we need, heck.
I'll take offense to that.
You might be the first one to go. You never know. I think we need to make good use of this. I've seen how you drive. We need to make good use of this next year because we're not going to get another chance. And I think CJ is probably the youngest one. He'll make it.
He'll make it.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brent. How's the council feel about this?
We're talking about the sesquicentennial?
Mm-hmm. Do we commit to this, or?
Is there a legal reason why not?
No.
Just making sure.
Are you hunting for one?
No. I'm just making sure we ain't doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it
I think it'd be great
if
if we
somebody
could-
wants to commit to it.
There's
Do
the
we have to-
logistics part.
Us old folks here. So what? We lived the last 150. We're not gonna make the next 50. So.
Well, being that I am on the Historical Society, I'm already committed, so I don't think I need to commit from the council side also.
So that leaves 4 of you. Didn't say mayor. Didn't say mayor. But I'm also on the development authority too, so.
Yeah, we can support it and come up with some lists and
Yeah.
see if we can get that staffed to give you what you need.
Thank you.
With-
Motion
Within
to-
the next 30 days is what they're proposing too.
Yeah, the 30 days is what's,
As far as a motion, I think what the request has been is that you make appointments for the
Right.
committee.
here's my concern about doing it in the next 30 days. We have an election coming up.
Might have been some people
Where
there.
some of us may or may not be up here for next year, and that's where my concern's coming in the 30 days.
You got a suggestion on alternative date?
Well, the
60
election
days?
is what, November the 4th? Can we hold off till after the election to pick the committee? That's the only thing that I would say, just because, I mean, we may pick and then may not be on the council, and then you don't have your 2 council members. That's why I'm saying that.
So you want me to say that again later on? To the
I would say that to form,
On the November agenda.
I don't have I mean, we can go ahead and, this is my opinion, go ahead and vote on putting the display up, to have that up by November the 3rd. But as far as picking a committee, I feel like that needs to be done after election.
But the other problem is, we need to go ahead, the events need to be planned in advance, because, I mean, January's gonna be here before we know it, y'all. We're already at the end of July.
Well, the only 2 up here that is guaranteed to be here is Tony and Garnet.
You got it.
So if you've got them 2 to commit, then we can commit tonight. But other than that, the rest of us may or may not be up here.
Right, and I understand that.
You see what I'm saying?
And I
That's-
understand that, it's just, we need to, whether they're committed now, or whoever's voted in November commits in that place when whoever leaves, we need to go ahead and say, yeah, we're gonna do this, or we're not going to. I mean, 150 years celebration for our town is a big deal. We need to try to at least start looking at something. Or we leave it to the Historical Society, and they're probably gonna come to y'all and say, hey, we need a little help in other areas.
You said you did that.
I'm already committed
No,
as the
Garnet.
Historical Society.
Garnet
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 said
said he
he'd
would.
help.
I can.
I will do my best.
So
I'm already stretched thin. I would need a schedule.
I just,
I
We
can't.
got 2, so
Yep.
that's good, because November's getting close to end of the year.
I'll do whatever I can.
We'll do all
Now,
the rest.
something else, Glenn, you may think about doing, because Development Authority, I can't, Robert's on it, and I may not be here after the election. I mean, I'm probably not gonna be, I'm not planning on running, but that's wide open secret now. But the other things that, so, that's another thing, you may talk to Jim about that. Getting in to appoint members, or find volunteers, so, that's another thing.
we can't really
So,
speak on behalf
yeah,
of
we
the
can't
DDA.
talk for them,
Yeah, we can't speak on behalf of the DDA, just,
but we can commit Tony and Garnet trying to help out. How about that? Is that, for now, we give you that.
I'm asking y'all, because I'm gonna be here tomorrow night, to talk to the authority folks on the side there, whenever I can get a hold of them. And then we've got little ladies' meeting this week.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be brought up, so by the end of this week, I should have some people, if I can just get 2 of y'all, and we got Garnet and Tony.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that works for me.
That'll work.
And that sounds good for y'all to have this back wall, 150 years, like in every 50-year segment, to show all the different things going on?
I support that.
Yeah.
support
Yeah.
that.
Got no problem with that.
I guess we need to do that formally then.
Your committee.
Yeah.
Committee needs to be.
Yeah.
Committee needs to commit on that.
No, just for council, the council would just approve who they're designating for your committee.
Yeah.
And then the use of the room can be addressed as y'all make decisions about it.
And it's probably not gonna happen November 3rd. It probably won't happen by November 3rd. I'm thinking, I'm just guessing, since it might. Y'all may fool me. Since we're eliminating election problems.
Don't wanna wait too late, because if y'all talking about November, not only do you have elections, you've got holidays, people
Yeah.
start planning left and right, and
Well, the November the 3rd piece could be done by the Historical Society by then. We could put together
Yeah.
the 50-year segments
Yeah.
by November the 3rd.
Yeah, I figured y'all had it already set up. I was
We've
surprised.
got a pretty good idea already of what to do. So we just need a motion for the council.
For the two.
Appointments, yeah.
Right.
Appointments.
It's a committee appointment like y'all do other committees. The mayor makes a recommendation and y'all would approve.
All right. I recommend the volunteers, Tony and Garnet, with hesitation for Tony's part, to be part of this committee called the City of Lula's Sesquicentennial Committee.
Do I need to speak about that other part too, because y'all got that on your agenda?
So let's
So
finish-
just give us a minute.
We got to finish this one first.
Okay,
That was the,
That was the appointment.
that was the appointment, so do we need to
Approve.
approve? I approve this appointment.
I'll second.
Motion made by Denise, second by Tony. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
I wasn't gonna try to say it.
150 years. 150 years. That's easier to say. Okay. All right, that was fun. All right, what else we got? Next page is the Historical Society, the entertainment, let's see, that's the first one? Yep. Entertainment for the Fall Festival. Who's going to present
Just
it?
that.
Sponsorship.
Yeah, this sponsorship. Zach wins, or is that something?
Yep. I wasn't sure, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Historical Society was requesting sponsorship from the city for Fall Festival, also for meeting space in 2026 and 2027, and requesting to use the Rafe Banks Park for the 2026 annual car show and the 2026 Fall Festival.
And I do know that the corrected 2027 sheet was submitted
Yes.
to Frank. I just
Right.
don't know if it made it into everybody's book. It's not in mine. Okay.
On the dates.
It's just where instead of saying 2026,
Yeah.
it says 2027.
Actually, the one I have says 2026, but I did make the notation on it.
Okay. And just as a reminder, even though I legally don't have to abstain for the vote for sections, for item 6, A, B, and C, I am going to abstain from this vote.
She does, for the record, she does that because she is president of the Historical Society. That's for the record.
Yes.
So this is for 2026 and 2027
The date's wrong.
on this
No,
one.
the-
Oh, the other one. Okay, so
On
we're
the
doing 2 years.
2027 sheet, it says 26,
Okay,
and it should say 27.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it is correct.
okay.
How y'all,
Hey, I thought the what happened, so what happened?
y'all do it one at a time.
Okay,
Let's do 6A first.
for 2 years. Meeting dates for 2
No,
years.
Yeah.
6A is sponsor, 6A is sponsor.
2 years for 26 and 27. Do we need to do those separate? Or can we do the 2 years together?
Oh, that you do,
Okay.
you do B,
All
you do
right,
B
I'm
together.
gonna do
You
this
do
one.
B together.
I'm gonna do this
It's-
one.
Do A first, sponsorship.
So I'm gonna make a motion to approve,
No,
the.
no, no. Let's do 6A first, the sponsorship.
I'm going out of order.
Hey, yeah,
Sorry.
I'm trying to keep us on track here. Don't lead me astray. It's easy to do.
We normally do. You get with that amount? Y'all got any discussion on the amount? Are y'all good? Chris and Garnet?
Joey, I've always had a question about this, and you know, I don't see there's a benefit to the city. I realize it's good faith. I don't see the benefit to the city.
And if you you have to find, in fact, I've got the draft resolution, which is what we've done before. I'll pass that now. Mayor, y'all can, I think we had sent it before as well. But in order to approve the request, you would have to find that there is a benefit to the city as stated in your standard resolution. That would apply to any nonprofit that was providing service to the city.
'Cause it's not a measurable benefit that I can see. I mean, I don't think it has tangible.
Well, it is a nonprofit running an event for the city that the city doesn't run. They're also bringing in people to the city that you wouldn't have brought in otherwise to come in and spend money within the city to benefit the businesses.
Which is what that's essentially what the resolution says, as it has in the past. That's what council has determined in the past, that the city receives benefit, so therefore it is not a gratuity prohibited by the Constitution. And the benefit set forth in the resolution is essentially what Juliet just mentioned.
I see it as a continuation and fulfillment of our city charter, making this a vibrant city. And I do also recognize what was just stated regarding bringing in additional people into the city as a showcase. And it's something that the city doesn't have to put the entire effort, so it does save our staff from having to put yet another event together. And it's a well put together, and it's an event that's been being held for many years. So I definitely see the value, and I also support it, and I also support this proposal that we have before us today.
Anybody else?
I'd be in favor of holding it $1,500 like we had been doing.
Anybody else?
Chris, you got any input that you want, before we make a motion?
Yeah, I mean, I can see the good, but I'm kind of like darn it. I don't know how long it's been at 15. I mean, last year was my first year, and then we're jumping at 1,000.
Too much of a jump at one time.
Well, it's also covering shuttle services, which the city didn't help out with before. And we're trying to do shuttle services to bring in even more people. But I can also understand why y'all want to drop it back down.
Let me ask you this stupid question, I guess. What is the booth rental fee?
$70.
This year is $70, it was
It
70.
was
Same.
$80 last year.
Okay,
We-
so
we
now you
kept
want
it-
it, okay, now we're getting somewhere, you
We
understand?
have kept it low for the vendors in an attempt to bring in more vendors, to bring in more people. If I were to raise
So
it to
wh-
what the booth price actually should be, which would be closer to $110 for the weekend, we're not gonna bring in vendors at all.
Right. And we try to keep the competition down so they can make a decent amount of money.
And so if you've got 6 people selling tumblers, that's the max I'll do is 6, as long as they're selling other things. And the reason we do it that way is to give everybody a chance. If I have 9 people selling hot dogs, nobody's gonna make any money. So we stop it at 2 or 3.
And kind of spread them out a bit too, so,
And they're spread out,
Yeah.
so they're not beside each other.
yeah, because it costs money. Not, the booth is not the only thing. You've got to have preparation, you're going to have transportation, and these people deserve the right to make some money
And
as a
we're also
vendor.
having to pay security, which we've never
Right.
paid before.
Right.
How many booths did you have last year?
Roughly
110?
110, because there were 140 booths total, but some of those booths are 9x9 booth squares for the kids' events.
How about the year before, you remember? 90?
87 vendors, 130 booths.
30?
I was able to squeeze in extra booths last
Because
year.
that's 2 years ago when we went to the ball field, was that 3 years ago? Was it 4 years ago?
It's been 4 years.
Mm.
It's 21.
It's growing quite a bit every year. People talk.
2020 was canceled, 21 got moved because of the
Yeah,
storm.
right.
So, yeah, 22 I helped with, 23 I've helped with, 24, and now 25.
Yeah.
Does, is the Historical Society also renting a generator this year as well?
We are not renting a generator, but we are having to pay more for entertainment.
Are you, and it's a multi-day event,
Yes.
the same, are you renting any lights?
So far, the security has said no because they have the equipment. Because we're having to hire a security company to come in to sit for 2 nights.
Mm.
Is that a local security company?
There's local, yeah. As local as I can find without it costing $50,000.
No, I was just curious. I definitely understand the cost of entertainment goes up,
Yeah.
and it's a shock.
I mean, most
And-
entertainers want $3,000
Yeah,
just to come and perform for an hour.
I'm surprised you have the budget at all to even, bring in entertainment at this point. And
Put it this way, the Historical Society might, when all is said and done, clear about $1,000
mhm.
just to be able to put money towards the account we've been putting money towards to actually refurb the downstairs jail to actually look like a jail.
Mhm.
So ultimately, there's no profit.
Yeah, I completely
That's why I call it
understand,
nonprofit, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Nonprofit, there is no profit.
Yeah, my wife was
Your
served
wife
as
did it.
president 2021, and that was kind of the resurgence of getting back out of COVID for it being shut down that previous year. And you're absolutely right. It is a passion and pure, volunteer and altruism and an effort that I don't think should go unrewarded. And I honestly, like I said before, I know the struggle that you have when it comes to trying to bring these things in, whereas many cities that we're all accustomed to and go visit those cities, they're spending $50,000 to $80,000 bringing in, all that they do.
Well,
And it's just a cost of, hey, here's an event for the city.
well,
And
the
thank you
shuttles-
guys for actually putting it together on a shoestring budget.
The
and-
shuttles are gonna cost about $1,500 just to get shuttles in here.
Certainly understand that.
And that's the small shuttles.
Is that
Golf carts,
golf carts? Okay.
golf cart limousines.
Yes. Well, I look forward to the
Are you
event. I know you guys
renting?
are
Are you
doing a good
renting?
job.
I'm having to rent them.
I think, you think some of the members of some of Citizen Lula have
Mine
golf
last year, I
carts.
didn't get no rent.
But hey, now, you volunteered.
Not everybody
You
has
would
them.
think, but the problem is, Joe, none of the citizens are gonna have one large enough. We're trying to rent 6 and 8 seater golf carts, not just a little cute 4-seater.
I have a question about that, if y'all don't mind.
Sure.
Well, last
No?
year,
Yes, well.
well, it's
Yeah.
just a suggestion, maybe. The entertainment last year, you couldn't hear them people unless you were right there. So why spend the money on that? Why try to get, like, schools that have local, they have little talent shows and things, and those kids would love to come and perform.
We've asked, they
And
don't.
they won't do it?
No.
Then just
Because
put
it's
out
on
a
the
big old
weekend.
stereo.
Because it's on the weekend, the schools cannot get the children to be able to participate. They can't provide the transportation for them.
Oh, well, just put
And
up a sign.
part of the reason the music's low
Mhm.
is because there were so many complaints, because we are using the same person that the city does. There were complaints because he would turn it up so loud at the depot that you couldn't hear or think. So we asked him last year to turn the music lower, so it wasn't so loud. Because it literally was hurting people's ears, it was so loud.
Why just get a stereo and put out some music of your own, different varieties, and just put
The demo she provided was definitely not the same.
Are we getting?
People were getting ready to pay her to not see.
Yeah, it was bad. The demo she provided, that was not what she sounded like on her demo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it really was.
That's
But I mean,
yeah.
honestly, instead of doing that, let's punch it out.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, I'm going to make a motion.
Okay. You ready?
Make a motion? Okay, I'm gonna make a motion, and I'm gonna go in the middle with my motion and make a motion that we approve, 2,000, to the Historical Society and go in between.
I'll second.
Motion made by Denise, second by Tony, for $2,000 sponsorship for the Lula Fall Festival for the Historical Society. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay. Thank y'all. Okay, let's see, 7B and C, let's see, B and C. No, B first. Is the meeting dates at the depot free of charge? Anybody got a problem with the dates?
I'm gonna make a motion that we accept these dates for year 2026 and 2027.
Second.
Motion made by Denise, second by Chris, to approve the meeting dates for Little Mountain Historical Society Depot as listed on both these sheets. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. And the Fall Festival, no, the car show for 2026. And the Fall Festival. The dates are Saturday, June 6th for the car show and September 26th, 27th for the Fall Festival.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Chris, second by Garnett, to approve the Historical Society use of ball fields for the car show in June 2026 and to the Fall Festival in September 2026. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay. That gets us down to the amicus resolution. Joe, you want to explain this to us?
The city of Milton has requested that the cities of the state approve a resolution joining what's called amicus brief, which is a friend of the court brief regarding a case that the Supreme Court will be hearing soon. And I've given you I see it's in your packet, the proposed resolution, a copy of the Court of Appeals decision that is now being appealed to the Supreme Court of Georgia. And what will happen is if you approve the resolution, I'm going to try to say this as objectively as I can, but the same group that could have settled their case for $1.75 million and got tagged for over $30 million will designate somebody to draft that brief and ask me to review it and approve. And I won't just approve what somebody else submits, but I'll review it and then make any comments. But that's what the opt-in resolution is requesting, is that the council approve being designated as on the amicus brief that will be submitted to the Georgia Supreme Court regarding the issues that the Court of Appeals or that the Supreme Court is going to hear.
So in other words, we would be siding with them?
Siding with the
In
city of
layman's
Milton.
terms?
Yes. You'd be supporting the city of
The
Milton.
city, okay.
What's the positives for Lula and the negatives for Lula?
Well, the positive is that the issues that the Supreme Court will decide are issues that need to be clarified. I just think this is a terrible case for seeking the city to, or looking for a judgment in favor of cities. In other words, it would be how far can you go with sovereign immunity. I sent y'all the facts of the case. You have the opinion, but one of those is at what point is road maintenance protected? Is it discretionary and you'd have immunity as a city under any circumstances? That question does need to be addressed. This one, though, when the city workers testified during the trial that they were aware as early as 2012 that this planter was a hazard where it was located on the shoulder, and it remained there until this young man died in 2016 when he collided with the planter. It's issues like that that would be addressed. That's the positive to the city. We need to get that clear. I'm just telling you, these facts are terrible, and when bad facts usually create bad law.
This is also the case, for, if you remember the early part of the year during the legislative session, where we were talking tort reform, this is the one that kept coming up as reasons why there should be tort reform from the municipality sides.
And they did pass that, didn't they?
They did pass it.
And the governor did sign it.
What?
And the governor did sign it.
Governor did sign it, but it didn't change these areas of
Right.
law.
Well, what's funny, I noticed that this past week we put benches on our new sidewalks, and they're definitely in the right of way.
Yes, sir. But your engineer has to tell you whether that's acceptable and you're in the
Yeah.
appropriate location and it was installed and all of those things. And that's not what the city of Milton heard about this planner.
Who's got questions? Who's got answers? Who's got opinions?
I definitely support the same treatment of cities as it was deemed by General Assembly for the state, with limitations of liability, which, Joey, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that was $1 million and up to $2 million in extenuating circumstances, or maybe there's no limit on the
Well,
extenuating circumstance.
There's no limit on those. They were talking about the insurance because you don't have immunity to the extent you have insurance, and that's where they were using that's where the law was addressing at what point the insurance would no longer provide coverage.
And I was under the impression that General Assembly passed it for the state, but did not pass that for the cities.
You're right. There were different limits for cities,
Mm-hmm.
and none of what the legislature passed would cover in what the law deems a ministerial function.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the issues the Georgia Supreme Court will address, is at what point are you exercising discretion, and at what point are you merely not performing the duties that are routine.
Yeah,
Your concern is just who's gonna be drafting this. You think this is something that needs to be addressed?
But not in this case. I think this case, the facts are such that whatever decision is rendered, I don't believe it'll be favorable to cities.
yeah. My recommendation would be to take no action and not join the amicus brief that is presented today.
And I would second that.
Motion made by Tony, second by Denise, to refrain from joining this amicus brief. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. I totally agree. For what it's worth.
Yeah, that's,
For what it's worth.
yeah.
Okay. We got an executive session tonight. We've got to discuss some personnel, legal, real estate. But before,
Well, we got number 8.
that's what that is.
Is it, oh, you don't have it updated? Here you go. Here you go.
Oh, I got it right here. I got it. I'm
We
sorry.
have to start all
I'm
over
sorry.
again, Joe. Let's redo that meeting.
Sorry about that. It was changed after I printed it out, sorry. All right, number 8, consideration of the election resolution. I had it in front of me, it's somewhere. Oh, I thought I had it.
Here's copy.
I thought I had it somewhere. Didn't you give it to me a while ago?
I don't know
Okay. So, so what we want to do is I can read it for you. The resolution of the council of the city of Lula for election to fill municipal offices. Whereas the council of the city of Lula consists of a mayor and 5 council members, and whereas the terms of the mayor and council member District 2 and council member District 3 at the end of the first regular council meeting end at the first regular council meeting in December 2025, and whereas the next general election is scheduled for November 4th, 2025, and whereas the council set the qualifying fee for mayor at $150 and a qualifying fee for the council members at $100, and whereas the city has contracted with the Hall County Board of Elections to control and manage elections, and whereas qualifying candidates will commence at 8:30 a.m. on Monday, August 18th, and end on Wednesday, August 20th at 4:30 p.m. at City Hall, 6055 Main Street, Lula, and whereas the city requests that the Hall County Election Superintendent Supervisor proceed as provided by law to conduct an election in the city municipal elections as set forth on November 4th, 2025. Now, therefore, the council of the city of Louisville adopts this resolution as follows. An election shall proceed pursuant to OCGA 21-2-9 and the city charter to fill the office of mayor and council member District 2 and council member District 3. The election shall be held November 4th, 2025. The voter registration deadline for this election is October 6th, 2025. Qualifying for candidates shall be at Louisville City Hall from August 18th, 2025 through August 20th, 2025. Advanced voting shall be Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, and continue until Friday, October 31st, 2025, and shall include Saturday, October 18th, 2025, and Saturday, October 25th, 2025, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, and from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday. Absentee ballot requests shall be available beginning October 14th, 2025. If runoff election is necessary, then runoff election shall be held on December 2nd, 2025. The election supervisor of Hall County Board of Elections and Registration is hereby authorized to execute the necessary documents and to publish notice and to proceed in accord with this resolution and the Georgia Election Code for the purpose of this election. We're going to have elections this year or not, folks? Yeah, I can.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Juliet and second by Denise to approve the election resolution. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay, now then. Number 9. Okay, now then. Now, we're going to have executive session, but before we do, I'll go ahead and do citizens' comments. Anybody else got anything they want to say?
Robert Grizzle, 640 Narramore Way, Little, Georgia. So, comment being nothing more than thinking out loud, but before a mic, I guess. So, what would give the city administration of Lula the feel that they can operate outside the bounds of the law, above the law, set forth by the state of Georgia and by the federal government, but yet enact the same exact laws on the citizens of Lula? It's not a question, so I'm not asking nobody to answer it. But I will be reaching out to the Honorable Mr. Holman for public records. But what would give the administration the feel that they can operate outside the bounds of the law of the state of Georgia, but yet enact it upon every citizen here in the city of Lula? Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hurry up with them sidewalks and get some gravel back there in that parking lot that y'all turn around, supposed to be using for parking. Because all this other stuff, then people can use it instead of getting trapped in that mud. On Carter Alley. Where you took the houses down. Show something for the people. We need park.
Public parking signs up there. Okay, council comments. Tony, let's start with you tonight.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you all for coming out tonight, and we appreciate you all being here and providing us input. All of it's very important, and we definitely take your concerns into consideration. I know a lot of this is, we have conversations throughout the week or phone calls from citizens and with each other, just trying to get an understanding of what is truly best for the city. And it's not an easy task, but I appreciate you guys having some patience with us, and we hope we get it right. But thank you all for coming out tonight. I just want to say thank you.
I want to say thank everyone for coming out tonight and enjoy the hot weather. I don't know if you enjoy it or not. Hopefully your air conditioner is working well, and have a good week.
Everybody for coming out. Sorry I was late, but glad I made it. Glad to see everybody.
Thank you everyone for coming. Good to see yous out. Still got too many empty seats.
I do want to thank everybody for coming out. I do want to mention, I do understand some citizens' frustration when they're watching us on YouTube and other outlets. Last week I had to miss because of the baby, and unfortunately I tried to listen and you couldn't hear. And unless we're literally on the mic, we've got to do better. We've also got to figure out how we can fix it, because unless you crank up your TV or your phone to max volume, we're not heard. Even if we're on the mic, even if we're projecting, none of us are heard. So we need to do something to try to fix this for our citizens. So, I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your turn.
Okay, the meetings, we got upcoming meetings. Tomorrow night's Development Authority at 6 o'clock here. The Lula Ladies Lunch and Dinner is Wednesday at noon and 6:30 at Depot. Historical Society meets next Monday night at 7 o'clock at Depot. The Planning Commission meets August 5th here. And our next work session is August 11th. And we'll get that in there. And I want to thank everybody for coming. And if y'all welcome to stay if you want to. I don't expect we're going to make any decision in executive session, but you're welcome to hang around. If you do, we'll make a decision and let you know after. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn executive session.
I make a motion we adjourn to executive session.
Second.
Motion by Denise, second by Chris, to go to executive session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're in executive session. Be there in about 5 minutes. Candy.
Jim's first great grandbaby is here.
Did everybody?
Oh, there's somebody. I see somebody walking.
To answer your question, no.
Yeah, no action.
We took no action in executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
That was quick. Juliet made a motion, Chris seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
Hey, Gwen, you know what my rule is? She knows what my rule is. Nobody says no.
open my mouth a second.
I think this mileage sheet is